Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
After his stunning arrest yesterday, the leading Republican candidate for governor, Ryan Kelly, is talking about being taken into custody for his role in the January 6th riot. And Kelly is not the only one talking about this.
We're also hearing from a man who pleaded guilty to being in the Capitol during the attack. He and about 20 million other people saw his recorded testimony in last night's primetime hearing. So let's turn to our Grant Herms now. And Grant, we haven't heard from these two men before.
We have not. Ryan Kelly talked to a radio station on the west side of the state. That Capitol rioter talked to me this afternoon, and both men have very different things to say about the positions they're in. Out on bond after being charged with 4 crimes for his role in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, Ryan Kelly calling his arrest a witch hunt.
We're continuing to go off on these political witch hunts against the frontrunner of the Michigan gubernatorial race on the Republican side.
Kelly joining other Republicans in accusing the FBI of playing politics.
Continue to try to weaponize the Biden administration, FBI, and DOJ to come after situations like this that there's baseless claims here.
Kelly was seen in multiple videos on January 6th waving rioters into the building. His arrest came on the same day as the first day of the January 6th hearing, where 2 Michigan men, Daniel Herendeen and Robert Shornack, were sentenced for their part in the insurrection, were featured.
We were invited by the President of the United States!
I did believe that the election was being stolen, and Trump asked us to come.
Basically, he asked for us to come to D.C., that big things are going to happen.
Local 4 tried to reach both men today. Herendeen did not return our calls, but Shornack did talk by phone and says seeing his testimony was more than a surprise.
They told me that they wanted it for congressional record. I didn't think it was going to be played in a committee hearing. It was going to be 6 nights of primetime TV. Didn't know that was going to happen either.
Shornack no longer thinks the election was stolen, saying he would have hoped for proof by now. That hasn't come.
I did it, and, I accepted the punishment. I moved on. Well, I'm trying to move on with my life.
Shornack also said that he doesn't think that the former president started or is responsible for January 6th. That is what the committee is trying to prove with the next 6 hearings. And this isn't over yet. The next hearing for the January 6th committee is on Monday at 10 a.m. Ryan Kelly is back in court via video. Also on Monday, that is at 1 p.m. Kimberly?
And speaking of Kelly, Grant, do we have any idea what his arrest will mean for the primary race for governor? I mean, the race has had a lot of upheaval. So what does it mean now that this has happened?
Now, there's certainly been a lot of shakeups in the Republican side of this race. One of the former party insiders that I have been talking to said that he thinks Kelly might actually get a boost from this arrest, not just in name recognition, getting his name out to people who may not know who he is here on the east side of the state, but also winning some loyalty points with the former president and his supporters. Former President Trump has not endorsed anybody in the governor's race just yet, and his supporters are looking to make him a political martyr right now. So this will be one of those things to watch as we get closer to the primary in August. Back to you.
And we will be watching. Okay, Grant, thanks.
Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Schur appearing on camera in court on a charge of second-degree murder for shooting Patrick Lyoya in the back of the head. Schur's attorneys arguing he should be released on bond and also arguing the shooting was justified. Let's bring in Sean Lay, who has more on what happened in court today. Sean.
And we have new information, Jason, that Schur is now out on bond. His hearing today from 1:30 in court until 2. He got a $100,000 bond. By about 4:30, he was out on that bond.
Your Honor, the defense submits that Officer Schur on this charge was justified in his use of force in this episode and is not guilty of this crime.
The attorney for Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Schur arguing that Schur should be released from jail on bond and also indicating Schur's defense in shooting Patrick Lyoya in the back of his head during a traffic stop April 4th, that Schur's use of force was justified and that the officer is not guilty. The charge Schur is facing, second-degree murder.
It is alleged that on April 4, 2022, that you did with the intent to kill or to do great bodily harm, or to act in wanton and willful disregard of the likelihood that the natural tendency of said act would cause death or great bodily harm.
Schur was given a $100,000 cash surety bond, meaning his bond must be insured. Judge Nicholas Ayub explained that Schur turned himself in once he learned of the charges and is eligible for a bond. But he's not releasing the officer on his own recognizance, meaning trusted to show up each time, because of how serious the allegation is.
By the sheer nature that that is the charge that the person is facing, elevates the risk, elevates pretrial risk.
Back here live again, Schur out on bond this evening. He has to show up for his next court appearance. That's about in 2 weeks. The judge gave him some bond conditions, including not having any firearms. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4. Back to you.
All right, Sean, we appreciate it.
An unusual eyesore has developed along Gratiot Avenue in Chesterfield Township. Shopping carts from the many retailers along that busy road are collecting at bus stops. Local 4 business editor Rod Maloney is live with a closer look. And Rod, the township has seen enough of this.
Well, yeah, you know, we're sitting here at the kiosk, the bus stop kiosk at 23 Mile in Gratiot, and usually people are concerned about, well, whether the buses are running on time, but in the township, this is what they're worried about. They create their own ungainly makeshift wire fences, multicolored shopping carts from many different stores, Meijer, Hobby Lobby, PetSmart, JCPenney. They stack up around bus stops. Smart writer Michael Singleton is not a fan.
I would like for them to not be there. You know, our town and stuff is already messed up enough, but I mean, people get creative with these carts, man. They have an extra spot to sit, I guess.
Bus riding shoppers, it's believed, roll their carts down Gratiot to hop on the bus, leaving their cart behind. Often they contain trash that collects around the carts as well. Steve Duchesne is Chesterfield's deputy township manager.
I mean, nobody likes it, I'm sure. Nobody says I enjoy driving Gratiot to look at the stacks of shopping carts.
The township code enforcement staff ended up having to collect the old carts and either return them or call the stores to come get them. But it's getting old after years of the same problem. So the township board passed an ordinance that will require the stores to either come get their carts or pay to get them back. $25 for a 3-pack.
We're certainly not going to create enough revenue to even offset the cost of continuing the enforcement. So it just is an incentive to the companies to get valuable carts back as promptly as possible.
As Michael's bus arrived, he had this take on the new ordinance.
Either you get rid of it or it's going to stay right here.
Now, they passed the ordinance on the 24th. It went into effect 2 days ago. But as you can see, well, the carts remain here. So what gives? Well, they're slow rolling this whole thing. They want to hand out pamphlets to the stores telling them exactly what's to come in the months ahead if they have to go ahead and pay to get their carts back. Back to you.
So, Rod, did you get a chance to talk with any of the retail stores about it?
Well, I did. I talked to Meijer, and they say that, you know, this is a long-time problem for many of their stores. They didn't have specifics on this particular location, but what they say is they always try and work with the localities and the neighborhoods that they're in to try and make sure that they can stop this kind of thing, and they say that they'll certainly be looking into it.
That's good. Okay. Rod, thanks.
Well, not the most impressive thing we've seen on radar all week, but a bit of a nuisance if you're headed out to dinner tonight.
It is. Brett Collar's tracking some wet weather tonight. Hi there, Brett.
Hey, we've been seeing these showers and a couple of thunderstorms move through. The intensity has really gone down the past couple of hours, but there are still a few showers and drops to dodge on this Friday evening. The heaviest of the rain here just mainly over Lake St. Clair, but you can see exiting Macomb County, some decent rain falling here at the moment. Outside of that, most everybody else is just seeing some light rain, especially southern Oakland County, back into Washtenaw County. There is some more rain back out to the west, but all this activity is starting to quiet down. And once the sun sets, it's really going to quiet down, set the stage for what should be a quiet night tonight and a quiet start to your Saturday. The second half of tomorrow, though, a different story as the chance for a few showers returns for the second half of the day, mainly in the north zone. A few more showers around parts of your Sunday. We've got some heat coming after this. We'll talk about how high the thermometer gets in just a bit. with the chance for rain this weekend, make sure that you have the Local Forecasters app. With it, live radar interactive right there in the palm of your hand. Forecast videos, it's all there. Just search WDIV weather in the App Store.
Former Detroit Police Chief James Craig says he will run as a write-in candidate in the Republican primary for Michigan governor. The announcement comes after he was kicked off the primary ballot because of a lack of valid petition signatures. Last week, the Michigan Court of Claims rejected his appeal to remain on the ballot. Craig now has until July 22nd to file as a write-in candidate.
The CDC releases new COVID risk levels here in Michigan. Macomb County is now at medium risk for COVID, meaning it's no longer recommended to wear a mask indoors. Masks are only recommended if you have symptoms or have been exposed. Wayne, Oakland, and Washtenaw counties are still at high risk. This comes as the Biden administration is ending the requirement that air travelers heading into the United States must show a negative COVID test before boarding flights. The mandate ends on Sunday.
Gas prices remain staggeringly high as we head into the weekend. AAA reporting Michigan drivers paying an average of $5.21 for a gallon of regular, and that's just slightly higher than yesterday and 28 cents higher than just last week. Michigan's prices way above the national average, which are about $4.98, and some experts are predicting $6 a gallon by the 4th of July.